Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom, here to bring you guys a recap of Friday's
Nine.
nine game slate. And tomorrow's it's broken down on both sites. We have a 2 game early slate with Milwaukee and Indiana and LA and Charlotte, and then a 7 game main slate, which includes that Milwaukee Indiana game. So 8 games in
Right.
total tomorrow, but the early slate starts at 2 o'clock Eastern, correct?
5 o'clock Eastern.
5 Eastern, 2 my time. Gotcha.
That's right.
What's up, Jeff?
What is up to all the phenoms watching us here on YouTube and listening on the podcast? We welcome you to the number one community in fantasy sports. That is the Fantasy Phenom.
Hell yeah! Appreciate you guys tuning in on iTunes and listening on the podcast. We are working to get onto Google Play as well. For those of you that don't have an Apple Music subscription, we're going to get onto Google Play for you guys because I know on your phone you do have to have a Apple Music subscription to listen. So we're getting there.
We're spreading the word, and that's all we can do.
Some other exciting news, Mike. We're working on hockey. So I know we're a little late to the season,
I was going to say.
but hockey is still among us, and hockey is alive and well. And Mr. Alex Molk, is a hockey phenom. Like what I did there.
No, people are coming out of the woodwork. I feel like today especially, we saw a lot of new faces. People were just coming at us with ideas and wanting to help, and that is what we are all about. Again, we are one big collaborative family, and it's not just Kyle. I mean, it's not just me and Kyle or Kyle and I. It's all of you guys. So
Man,
you guys make the ship run. That's for sure.
this Slack group is absolutely off the chains, man. I was at work today, and you weren't lying when you said you get a vibration every 7 seconds, dude. It was I go on. I'm like trying to pull out my phone every time I go in the back, and it's like 250 unread messages, and I was like, God damn it, man.
Yeah, it's just a testament. I mean, so the Slack thing, it's like a running forum type deal, and people just kind of talk back and forth. I'll pop in from time to time, and no one's even talking about basketball. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
And it's awesome because you can separate it like that. Like we have a just chilling channel. We have a lineup building channel. We have a game talk channel. So everyone's talking about the games, this and that. Everyone's on the edge of their seats at the end of the night waiting for their picks to come through, and one person completely turned around their money, went from net loss to a net gain just from the late slate. So it's awesome, man. Like seeing all the interaction in there and all the new people that are joining. Like that's the first thing that people are asking for is we got a couple new subscriptions today, and the first thing I got was, how do I get into the Slack group?
Exactly. So it's taken off, and yeah. So if you're having a bad night, you kind of get to feed off somebody else that's winning too. It's pretty cool, and I don't know. Kyle and I were just talking about this. It's like, I mean, I don't really have any close friends around here that play daily fantasy. I don't know of many people that do at all. So it's hard for me to talk about this hobby that I'm so passionate about with people, that I see on a daily basis, my friends here. So it's cool to have that, so I can go in and really talk with other people that are passionate about DFS, like you and I.
Hell yeah, man. We were talking before
What's
the
up,
show.
Jeff?
We were talking before the show about how the community is really. It's amazing the community sense. To answer Gorilla's question, the Slack it's actually not new. So it's meant for businesses, and it's an incredibly useful collaboration tool among businesses that use telecommunications. So, obviously, I mean, this is a prime example, right? There's me in California and Mike in Jersey. This tool is perfect because it allows us to separate thoughts, and then you throw in all the other guys, and we have a thread for business ideas that we have going and things like that, right? But it allows us to organize thoughts, and for you guys, it allows us to organize threads and Obviously, we have a live Twitter feed. I swear that is the best thing about the app. I'm sure you guys get the notifications for it, but that updating Twitter, where I have all the beat writers linked to it, is crazy because you're getting the news before Basketball Monster and Fantasy Labs post it, because that's where they post it from. If you look at the information, it's verbatim. They either copy and paste or they retweet. So, and Mike noticed this a couple weeks ago. That day that Jimmy Butler was out was actually posted at 5:58 p.m.
By the beat writer.
It wasn't released by Fantasy Labs until 6 p.m. when Slate's locked. So that 2 minutes is life-saving in DFS.
It's just a lot of fun, guys. I really recommend checking that out, that aspect of this out. I mean, this is the bread and butter, just listening to us talk about the slate. But if you have some questions about when you're building your lineups, it's a prime tool. It really is.
It's crazy, and you get everyone else's opinion. It's a great tool. And again, shout out to Jeff and Alex for putting us on this, man. I'm not going to lie, we were a little hesitant because we were worried that it would impact the Facebook group, but both groups are still doing fine. And honestly, I think the Slack group is better than Facebook, hands down, because if you join it after, you'll actually get to take you back to all the messages you haven't read, whereas Facebook, 2 or 3 posts go by and that thread is lost. So you have to do a lot of scrolling on Facebook to find it. So
yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know your feedback. And again, this is something we're only offering to those who are the pro subscribers. So if you want any information about that and how to join, send us an email.
Yeah, we'll get you guys hooked up for sure. And that, of course, comes with the projections and everything. By the way, those of you guys that are listening today, I did a live show earlier today before I went to work about how to use the spreadsheets. So if you're ever confused about how to do it, I know the old one was a little outdated. So I redid it today and kind of explained what it does, how to use the projections, how to use the optimizer if you're able to, things like that. So give it a look if it's something that you are interested in or you can use. Or if you're looking to subscribe and you want to see what the sheets do, take a look at that video first. You'll see all the information that's on there and how they work with the projections and the optimizer. So everything's detailed in there.
Yep, get on that trial.
Projections today. So we talked about Giannis earlier today, and we were off of him. The more we talked about it, we were off of him, and he balled out.
What did I say last night?
You were telling me how much.
I said don't overthink it, right? I think it was like 4:30 in the morning last night. I'm like, I think I'll have Giannis tomorrow. No Jabari against the Lakers. I'm just gonna do it. Don't overthink it. Well, guess what? But it wasn't just me. It wasn't just you. It seems like a lot of people did. So
absolutely,
that won't happen for long.
Ben McLemore, I was not on that at all. I mean, in my head, Ben McLemore's trash. Like, he's been trash for 4 years. But I hope maybe he's turning the corner, hopefully. I'd love to see him turn the corner.
This is one of those fantasy plays. He's not a good NBA player, but the fact that it is literally him, Aflalo, and Collison are the only 3 guards on that team right now. So they have no choice, They have no choice but to play him, and at minimum salary, that's why I thought he would be in play. And I let these goobers in the live lock chat tell me that I shouldn't play him. But it's okay. Still doubled my money tonight. It would have been real nice having Mr. Benny Big Mac in my lineup. But, hey, all is not lost. Yeah, but that was definitely a fluke, man. I don't see him getting 6 threes again tomorrow or the next game.
We talked about Melo having a nice game against Denver. Definitely showed out tonight. We talked about Mike Conley. I loved his matchup against Golden State. Definitely beat his projection by 12 points. Klay Thompson.
He was a good tournament play today. He was real low owned.
Klay Thompson returned in a lot of optimals. And again, you look at the tools. Klay Thompson returned in a lot of optimals.
Right.
And there's
that would have easily been one of those players that I wasn't looking at. That if I saw him turn in a lot of optimals, I would have looked at twice.
Yep.
And I actually did play him on FanDuel today because of that reason.
Kevin Durant, I expected a little better game out of him. He definitely played the lower end of where I projected him to play, 32 minutes,
Why do you think that is, Kyle?
because the Grizzlies played bigger.
No, I'm thinking it's because of tonight's game. Like I said
Oh,
last
true
night,
that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, against OKC. Yep.
AD looking ahead, man. I don't know. You don't think they do that, but if there was any player in any spot that was going to do that, it was KD tonight.
Where's Jokic at? Why did Jokic not show up on this? Hold on.
Jokic, no Jokic love?
Where did he go? Okay, there he is right
Man,
there. I see him.
Jokic has been to heaven and back, it seems.
Ah, that's why. Ah. Let's just drag this. Oops. I sent this out too. I didn't realize it wasn't.
Complete.
It's all good. So now we'll sort. Bam.
Projections?
There we go. Anthony Davis, a player that returned in every single optimal on FanDuel. Every single one.
Yep, that's a definite sign.
Draymond Green
he
did
crushed it,
not,
man.
but Mike put you guys on him.
Yeah, I hope you guys listened. Only 3% owned in the Money Melee, so it doesn't seem like you guys are paying much attention. But that's okay. It's okay. It was. I didn't play him either, so I can't fault you guys too much. But it's just one of those plays I thought from watching games enough that I would want to play. But no one can project 10 steals, so I'm not trying to throw out like that.
That was ridiculous. Jokic, I said I was going to fade him, and I was wrong. I was dead wrong.
So if you guys were watching the Lock Show today, I don't know if anybody here in the chat was, probably not, but if you're watching the Lock Show today, when I saw that news come out, because we were live on the Lock Show in the Facebook group, when the news came out about how they were going to start Jennings and push Porzingis to the 5. And I was like, oh my God, you put Jennings usage into that starting lineup, and I was like, this game is going to total 250. And sure enough, I was half joking, but sure enough, the game ended in a total of, let me see if I can find it, 254. That wasn't overtime, folks. That was just strict no defense in the Garden. And I think if you play anybody in that game, you were happy.
Barton went off. Chandler went off.
Jameer Nelson had a double-double. Melo had 50. Man, I guess Rose somewhat underperformed. I don't know what Porzingis did.
I didn't see. What about Dwayne Dedman,
But still, that was chock full. Dwayne Dedman, man.
I'm mad that I didn't look at this play, man, because I used to always preach attack Drummond. Drummond is a terrible defender, and I'm so mad that I looked over Dwayne Dedman today. Because
there was a lot of plays at center. Don't beat yourself up, man.
Nah, but so here's the thing. John Henson returned quite a bit in the optimals. And the same thing happened yesterday, and I rostered Dedman in a couple of lineups instead of Henson. And Dedman did good. And I didn't even look at him today. I really didn't. And
I want you to guess. I want you to guess what John Henson's usage percentage was today.
Probably 2%.
Don't look at it.
2%.
2.8%.
There you go. That was a guess, Joe. I didn't know that. He played what?
Yeah.
I don't even know how many
Abysmal.
minutes. Yeah.
Something like 15 minutes.
So
2.8.
Paul Millsap had a really good game. Nick Young balled out. Devin Booker balled out. Eric Bledsoe hit projection, which was over 5 times value on DraftKings. We liked that play a lot. Gortat did his thing. Aldridge, I said I liked him today. He definitely did good. Iguodala, what the hell? 37 points.
Telling you, man. This is something I've been on since Zaza's been out. If it's a close game, The big four and Iguodala all get 30-plus minutes with Zaza out.
Okay, good find, Mike. Good find.
Look it up. I think it's 3 out of 4 games since Zaza's been out. They've been close, and Iguodala's had 30-plus minutes. Now, I mean, his usage obviously is
He's the last
shit,
option. Yeah.
but his price has been pretty low, and he's been returning value. So
If you're looking
keep
for
an eye out.
If you're looking for minutes.
Yep, and that's what we're all looking for with value plays, minutes.
All right. Well, we got a total of 8 games tomorrow. Obviously, as we said before, you got your 2 early games, well, 1 early game, and then one of the 4 o'clocks, and then you have your other 7.
Yep.
So
That's right. 7-game main.
you know what, we may as well actually start with the early slate because they're not all together. So let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we can just cut that game out, the rest of it.
LA and Charlotte. Kemba Walker's in a good matchup, but he's been terrible lately.
Yes, he has. He has been very bad. 34% from the field in his last 5 games, 32% from 3, and he's averaging 28 DraftKings points, which at 7,500
is 4 times value, less than 4 times value.
Is not good. And that's last 5 games he's averaging 28 DraftKings points. Now, it's a 2-game slate. So the point guards you're looking at are Kemba, Rivers, Brogdon, and Teague. Right?
Teague is a lock. I think he has to be a lock.
So
tomorrow.
Teague's like the automatic play, right? So, in my opinion, if you're playing tournaments, play Kemba.
See, this is where I think you can get tricky. I think you go Rivers tomorrow.
Again, Rivers is similar. Rivers, the last 5 games, 37% from the field, 23% from 3, and he's averaging 26 DraftKings points. So yeah, I guess you can go to Rivers because he's averaging right around 5 times value.
I was going to say,
they're both shooting
terrible.
Yeah, there's a reason why both of their prices have dropped like $500.
But you can save $2,200 doing that. If you're going to get the same production, you know what I mean?
So on FanDuel, is Rivers a point guard still? I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I have to double check. Shooting guard, I think Batum is a lock.
Yeah, there's really no other shooting guards on this entire slate.
Giannis is going to be a lock tomorrow. And
on FanDuel, yeah, you're right. He's not a shooting guard on DraftKings.
Yeah, he's the one out of the 3 positions he's not eligible. But
so on FanDuel, do you play Batum and Giannis tomorrow in that short slate?
I think you have to.
I guess so, right?
I think you have to, yeah. I think honestly you go Giannis, Batum, and then maybe even Brogdon and
Rivers,
because I love Teague, but I love Teague. And if you can afford him, I haven't built a lineup on that slate, but if you can afford him, yeah.
The Bucks have been pretty good against point guards in the past 10.
And Teague is not a good defender, so I think you can target him. I worry about Jason Kidd's rotations.
Yeah, I like Brogdon, man. He saw a nice bump in usage today. Like I said last night, I think he's going to be one of the guys that benefits more than the others without Jabari.
At small forward. Okay, Gilchrist against LA, absolutely in play. And this is one of the reasons I think you can go Giannis and Batum is you have some nice value. Kid Gilchrist is, again, a good matchup there. And then at small forward for the Bucks and Pacers, you're going to have to fade Paul George if you do that. So I think you can look at either CJ Miles or Beasley.
Yeah, I'm not looking at CJ Miles, but I like Beasley. I think I can get behind that after what we saw today. Man, it's just difficult because I want Giannis on this short slate, but then I have to decide between Batum, Blake, and George, and Teague for that matter.
You know what though? Nah, you fade Teague tomorrow. If you're gonna choose between Teague and George, you fade Teague and go George all day.
Okay, so you can't go Giannis, Batum, George, and Griffin. So I'm thinking I like Blake in this game, definitely. I like Blake over Batum. So if I'm going Blake and Giannis, it's going to really limit. I don't think I can get Kemba, Batum, George, or Teague,
Oh,
you
I don't
know?
want Kemba. I don't want Kemba.
Just saying, this is going to be a tricky slate tomorrow for sure.
It's going to be one of the harder 2 game slates because of the players you can play in the matchups. I think
Yeah, they're just ugly matchups, man.
it's not as straightforward as your normal 2 game slate where everyone's going to be on the same stars, right? Like there's
And
so
then you
many.
also have to factor in that Milwaukee plays 2 hours after lock. And who the hell knows what they
Yeah,
could start somebody complete. They started Thon Maker today. They could start.
Beasley or
Man, they could start.
Teletovic.
Exactly. Who knows?
That's why I
So
would stay away from that situation in general. I think looking at it, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is a lock on that slate to me. Like best that
you're
five
considering
thousand.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah, that $5,000 price tag is perfect for what I'm looking at because I'm not trying to spend up at small forward tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like maybe Paul George, but on the other side, maybe I go.
You're talking in this slate.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
maybe you even go Paul George and Blake Griffin tomorrow. I think they have
You could.
I think they have the best 2 matchups.
Yeah, in a sense, because this slate isn't very straightforward, it could be fun to play. In tournaments. I wouldn't recommend playing any 2 game slate in a cash game, but do your research, and if you find something that puts you on 2 of these high-priced guys, I think you could do well since it's not as straightforward as one may seem.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be as obvious as picking Giannis. So talked about Blake. Obviously, Kaminsky's going to get the start tomorrow.
Yep, I think Zeller is listed as questionable. So if he doesn't play, he should start, and he's averaging over 30 minutes every time he starts at center.
I think I like Kaminsky tomorrow. I think he can. He's not going to have to worry as much about DeAndre Jordan because he can stretch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be a strange matchup for DeAndre.
Exactly.
I mean, he only needs to get you 25, so it's not too tough of a pick.
And lastly, center. Out of the centers in this slate, I think I'm gonna fade Jordan. I'd have to look. I don't know what Miles Turner's price is. Do you have that in front of you?
I don't know.
We'll have to look at that. But Miles Turner against Milwaukee seems like the safer play.
The only safe play, it
Yeah.
seems like.
And I bet you he's less than 7,100. So, but you
But
do notice.
you could play center with Frank, and you could play LaVoy Allen at center. You could try and play Monroe if you feeling frisky.
Again, it's. I mean,
There could be some decent plays.
the reason I think I'm away from all centers in Milwaukee right now is Spencer Hawes was active today, so it seems like he's back. Like he's active to go.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't feel like playing anybody in
Not
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Get this, man. All right. So today, Giannis. Giannis played 37.7 minutes today, right?
Uh
No one else on the entire team had over 24 minutes.
huh. So what you're saying is Giannis is the only play.
They played 11 guys. Giannis played 38 minutes, and no one else played 24. And his usage bumped from a season average of 28.5% to 37.5%.
Speaking of that game, how about the Lakers, man? Everyone but Brandon Ingram did anything today.
I told you that I just wanted to avoid that game so bad, man. Nothing made sense,
Oh
logically
man,
speaking, going into that game.
guess who had Brandon
And
Ingram in
sure
every
enough, if
single
you
lineup?
if you watch the game or you looked at the box score, nothing makes sense.
Nick Young, I
So,
think, was the highest scorer for the Lakers. Correct?
probably.
Guess who
If
had
we're
a hundred?
talking about the opposite of logic,
Guess who had 100% Brandon Ingram tonight?
I know you were high on him.
I locked him in. He was a lock for me at his price in that matchup, and I think he finished with 3 points.
it just goes to show you, like I said, I don't feel safe with any of these guys. These guys I probably feel most safe with is Brandon Ingram, but
Well, that's exactly where
it was just impossible to predict, and I usually try to avoid things that are impossible to predict.
His minutes were the only consistent ones on the team, and I felt like I had to go there. But as I always say, such is life.
Such is life.
Your theory holds true here, Mike. Prices against Utah.
What theory?
Isaiah Thomas down to 9,200.
I know, man.
That's a juicy price, man. I'm telling
They're
you.
just like saying, here he is. You know you want some Isaiah Thomas. Come on. God, I don't know. I mean, they played earlier in January, I think, early January.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in Boston, so there's something to be said about that. But Isaiah, I mean, he had 29 points, 15 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 10 for 18, 5 of 8 from 3, crushed it. And like I said the other day about Yogi Ferrell, if there's any position I want to go after Utah, it's point guard. So at a depressed price,
you have Isaiah.
You know I'm looking at him.
He's matchup proof. He is.
Problem I'm having is, can I stomach paying $800 more for Isaiah over Kyrie against Denver? You know, it's like, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if I can do it.
Who controls the pace in this? Someone asked me that earlier, and I said Boston. I think Boston's the better team, and the better team controls the pace.
Generally speaking, if you look at the implied point totals for this game, it's saying that Utah is implied to score over 100 points. So if you think of it that way, then that's what Vegas thinks as well.
Yep.
They're thinking that Utah is going to average, above average points in this game, and I mean, and same to be said about Boston. Obviously, they're probably going to average below average points. And if you look at my fantasy point projections, this is the second to last game in projection. So.
Here's the thing here's the thing about pace. Here's the thing about pace that I think is not well known. I've done a lot of research on pace because it's something that I think factors into games, and it's something that I factor into my projections. It's a relatively high weight. And pace is historically controlled by the better team. And here's the reason I say that. If you look at how a game's pace is played, the game is either paced up or down, depending on the team that is leading the game. If Boston is winning tomorrow, the pace will be higher. If Boston is losing tomorrow, it's going to be because the pace is lower, and that means Utah is controlling the game. We talk about it in football, right? So you hear that all the time. Or we heard about it with the Cavs and Warriors all the time, right? So Cavs is... Everyone always said the Warriors play so at pace, and can the Cavs control the tempo of the game? It's exactly it. If the Cavs are down, they obviously can't control the tempo of the game. And that's how you look at pace. So if a team's losing, they obviously have to increase the pace. And the fourth quarter is always where you see the pace flip, one way or the other. If the pace is up, the team that's winning in the fourth quarter will slow the game down, right? Because you're draining clock. And the team that's losing will increase the pace. And so if the pace is up the whole game, that pace historically drops and flips to does a complete 180 in the fourth quarter. So when evaluating whether a game's going to be up pace or low pace, you look at who the favorite team is and who you think is going to win and who's going to control the game. And that's where you go from there.
Yeah, I agree for the most part with that analysis. I mean, obviously I like to factor in the fact that I watch a shitload of basketball. And so in my opinion, yeah, I believe Boston gets the edge in team. I don't think Utah is a bad team
Not at all.
By any means.
Utah's a good team.
So they are. They're both very good teams. So in my opinion, I don't see this being a game in which one team controls the pace. I think it's going to be a game of runs and a game where Boston's going to be playing their game, Utah's going to be playing their game, and it's going to go back and forth to the point that we're going to have most likely a 5-point game toward the end, 5 to 10 point game toward the end, in my opinion. So
it'll be a close game. It will.
If you think of it that way, I think it'll even out in that sense. You're going to see some parts of the game high in pace, some of it controlled by Utah's pace, and so it's not like you say, oh, I think Boston's going to control the pace in this game. This is going to be an up-tempo game the whole game. It's
No, no,
just
no.
not going to
It's
be that.
never that. I think how you have to evaluate it is if you were to take Boston's pace and you were to take Utah's pace and average the two, I think
Right.
you see a higher than that average pace, if that makes sense. So if you were to
Gotcha.
put
So
those
if
two
you
teams
combine pace, yeah. If you combine pace,
split them dead down the middle, and then you evaluate lower or higher, I think it's going to be higher than that number from a pace
gotcha.
standpoint.
Understood.
So with that said, Isaiah Thomas I like tomorrow. We kind of got off on a tangent there. Isaiah Thomas, George Hill's always also in play though. 6,000. I didn't mean to say always. He is in play tomorrow against Isaiah Thomas, and I like the fact that I think
Definitely.
he will have to play a little up in pace.
Yeah, he'll be playing more his game for sure. I think Hill's going to benefit, and he's got the best fantasy matchup on his team if you consider DVP and defensive rating.
Yep. So you mentioned Kyrie, 8,400 against Denver. Denver's on a back-to-back. Are you worried about any late lock shenanigans tomorrow, Mike, with the big three?
Man, I'm more than worried. Like, I'm probably gonna have bad dreams about it tonight. I'm in the entire 1 hour of sleep that I'm going to get. It's just going to be riddled with bad dreams of late lock news. But assuming they all play, right? We can't really go there. Assuming they all play, I similarly to George Hill, I think Kyrie is the best fantasy matchup on his team when you consider defensive rating and DVP.
I agree.
And if I'm looking to roster one of the big three, I mean, I guess you definitely can make the consideration for more than one. Definitely can. But if I'm looking at my favorite, it's probably Kyrie.
I can get behind Kyrie 100% tomorrow. I can.
And that's what I'm worried about in tournaments. Do I want to go up to Thomas?
So let me ask you this then, because I think a lot of people are going to be on Kyrie tomorrow because of the matchup. Can you? I don't know if this makes sense, but can you pivot up to Isaiah Thomas?
Just depends on your lineup flexibility. You might have to pivot down somewhere else.
Yeah,
but
I know typically you pivot down. Like that typically is the pivot. You usually don't pivot up.
Well, it goes both ways. If you pivot down to someone, you're going to pivot up somewhere else. You know,
Agree.
That's just. I think that Isaiah Thomas is the primary pivot for sure, and again, it's just because it's such an enticing price point. I don't know. I don't know if I get too cute and fade such a nice matchup for Kyrie.
I agree. He could be good chalk tomorrow if he's chalky. I don't know if he's going to be yet, but he could be good chalk.
One of the big three generally aren't, because if one's in a good matchup, generally all of them are. So it's hard for one of them to be chalk.
It's true. Russell Westbrook against Golden State. Both of the other two have been in Golden State for what it's worth.
I like it. Yes, I love it.
You paying 12.6 on DraftKings for it?
Yeah, if I want exposure to this game, I want Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, right?
I think you have to look at Kevin Durant tomorrow, yes.
You know, all of their teammates, I mean, not that they don't anyway, but all of their teammates are going to be deferring to Russell Westbrook, and similar can be said to Kevin Durant. We've already seen it in the two games that they've played this year. It's almost like everybody in Golden State's kind of just letting Kevin Durant, do his thing.
I think he's going to
take a back seat.
He's gonna do his thing tomorrow as well. He's gonna be the floor general.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think his teammates are going to be enabling him too. And the Warriors have the best assist percentage in the league by a ton. So these guys, I mean, they are another level of offense, and they will be able to take piece apart. I don't even think it's going to be a close game. I don't understand how it's a 6-point or a 7-point spread.
I don't think it's close.
That to me makes no sense. The two games they played this year were a 21-point spread and a 26-point spread in Golden State. And this one is a 7-point spread. I was betting man.
Maybe Golden State on a back-to-back, but I don't. Yeah. I think a 6-point spread is easy tomorrow.
Definitely.
May have to throw some money on that. We talked about Jeff Teague and Brogdon already. Okay, what about this Orlando-Dallas game? Elfrid Payton and Yogi Ferrell are now almost identical, 55 and 54. I think you have to look at Yogi over Elfrid, especially with Fournier back.
Yeah, Vogel threw me for a hell of a loop the other day, right before lock. That was another thing. It wasn't just this wasn't just the Cleveland news. We had a bunch of news come out of Orlando camp about what they were doing. Obviously, with Gordon out, if he is out again, we might see the same shit. I mean, they started C.J. Miles and C.J.
Watson.
Elf. Yeah, sorry, C.J. Watson, C.J. Elf, and D.J. Augustine all played 24 minutes, while Fournier played 42. So it was like a 3-man point guard, shooting guard, and then I guess they had some Fournier at small forward. It was just, to me, it's just like I want none of this backcourt. And but you would look at the flip side. If you look at what the DVP for Orlando against point guards is, they're one of the top. They're a top 5 team. So
bottom 5.
Yeah, it just depends on how you look at it. To me, it's top 5 because that's
top
what I want to target.
Top 5 to play against.
Yeah. And I think Yogi's got a nice price, 5,400. He's averaging 30 DraftKings points in his 6 starts. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, that would be right at 6 times value, just right below it. So obviously, with a plus matchup, you're talking about
something to look at, man, for sure.
Okay, now this is going to be the game of the night to play.
Any stack advice for today? Not on this slate, man. I'm sticking to the not the correlation numbers, but just the numbers to look at when you're rostering multiple players on a team to like 5 or less. If you're trying to do a short slate and you wanna get at me with some numbers tomorrow, just send me a message.
James Harden, Eric Bledsoe, Patrick Beverley.
This is going to be another juicy game. I mean,
this is going to be, I think,
the highest over under of the night.
Yeah,
I have it as the 3rd highest projected point total. I don't know what to think, man. I really like Harden if Gordon and Nene are both out, because we saw with both of them out last game, they ran a 7-man rotation. And if they run a 7-man rotation in this game, even if it's a blowout, Harden's minutes are going to be safe.
Hey, he's got to play.
And that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. If Gordon is back, I think we could see only 30 to 32, 33 minutes of Harden tomorrow, and I'm much rather pay for Westbrook in that case.
What does your gut tell you? Blowout or no blowout?
My gut tells me blowout because it's already been a blowout this year. We actually saw that James Harden was the only one that he played 30 minutes in that game, and he was the only one on this team to play 30 minutes. So it was like they spread the ball around, and it was kind of like a trap game because of what the point total was. But again, if there's only 7 players, I mean, we saw it. We saw it today with New Orleans. There's only a few players.
So they got to play.
Their studs have to play, even if it's a blowout like today.
Marcus Smart, I think that's a... I don't know, man. I think I fade it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you can somewhat give it some consideration if Crowder doesn't play, but I'm not really looking at it.
Rodney Hood, I believe, is still out.
He is listed. Yeah. I don't have his designation, actually. I believe so.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown's not in play at all, surprisingly.
He'll get minutes, too, if Crowder's out, though.
He will, but I'm going to fade that.
Not do much with him.
Not on a big slate. Will Barton, Gary Harris against Cleveland tomorrow. If you had to target one of the two.
Will Barton.
You still go back to Will Barton?
Yep. I do.
My gut
just because, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Part of me wants to go Gary Harris for the price difference, and I mean, Cleveland's terrible against both positions.
I think if Barton doesn't start, which I don't imagine he will, he doesn't start, I can look at Gary Harris. If he does start, I'm not looking at Gary Harris at all.
That makes sense. Okay,
Like
so
if they both start, I'm not looking at Gary Harris
that
at
makes
all.
sense.
If
That makes sense.
Barton's off the bench, I'll look at Harris.
That makes sense. Kyle Korver?
No.
Matchup's juicy, but agree. I think there's better plays. Oladipo and Klay Thompson. I think Oladipo had a really, really good game against them last time.
I looked into it. I didn't really see any staggering numbers.
Let me check. I thought I saw. I could be wrong.
Yo, Kyle, can you carry on without me for just a second?
Yeah. Okay,
I gotta do something real quick.
You're good. So Oladipo had 34 points last time they played. And at his price tag of 63, yeah, that would be, it's right under 6 times value, right in between. It's about 5.5, so I can see that. What did Klay do last time? That intrigues me as well, actually. Klay went off today. He had a really nice game. 40 FanDuel points. 40 FanDuel points. Against OKC, he had 26. That seems to fall in line with Oladipo's defense. So, yeah, I think I fade Klay tomorrow. I think Durant, as Mike mentioned, is the clear beneficiary of the offense tomorrow. But I like Oladipo in that matchup. Miami and Philly. I think you can look at Wayne Ellington tomorrow if Waiters is still out. But keep an eye on that news. I don't see him playing. But if he doesn't, Wayne Ellington's definitely a decent look. I think I'm going to fade the Philly backcourt, Stauskas and Henderson. Not really looking at too much there. We talked about Brogdon, Miles. Going to fade that. What's up, Mike?
I'm back. Did you guys enjoy my bookshelf?
What are your thoughts on Rashad Vaughn tomorrow? Do you think he
got a DNP CD today, but that means he'll probably play 30 minutes tomorrow.
Chris Middleton's already out tomorrow for rest.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that that just means more minutes or more production for Beasley and some of the other wing players. You know, perhaps he enters the rotation. Like I said, they had 11 players play under 24 minutes today, so he's probably a likely candidate to come in there. But again, I'm still going to completely avoid this game. Obviously, there's a starting spot up for grabs right now. You know.
Yep.
And Kidd doesn't really seem to know how to evaluate his team to put somebody in that starting lineup. So I guess that's what he's doing now.
Evan Fournier, I think I avoid that.
Against Dallas.
I mean, if there's a position
I think
against Dallas,
his price is what's getting me off of him. It's too fair.
Wes Matthews I do like, though. We like to target Orlando wings.
Yeah, I think I'd go Wes over Fournier, but I like Yogi's spot a little bit better. I will say that Wes Matthews, he's also averaging 30 DraftKings points since D. Will's been out. And he's averaging over 37 minutes a game, too.
Yeah, Wes has he's been a minutes guy the whole season, but yeah, it's increased even more. What about...
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Got some nice things on there.
Devin Booker. I like Devin Booker tomorrow. I do. If Phoenix wants to keep today, yeah. If Phoenix wants to keep it close at all, they're going to need obviously a game from their backcourt, and so Devin Booker I think has the best matchup out of him and Bledsoe.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about increased possessions. What we're going to see in this game, we're going to see a ton of increased possessions on both sides. We're going to see a ton of increased fantasy points on both sides. So target the high usage guys and pick one.
Don't Bledsoe and Booker account for something like 42% of their usage?
No, it was a certain stretch of games, I think.
Okay.
It was a certain stretch of games that I had targeted, like the last 10 games, they were accounting for like 46% of their team's total points.
I'm going to actually look that up right now and see what they account for usage-wise.
I'm sure it's close to 40. I mean, there's most teams have two guys in around 25.
Bledsoe accounts for 28% of usage,
Yeah.
and Booker accounts for 28%. So you're at 56% between those two while they're on the
Yeah.
floor, obviously. That's not the
That
entire
makes
team.
sense.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's definitely something to look at.
I think I go to Booker just because Bledsoe is continuing to be in somewhat of a shooting streak, and he's a nicer matchup.
Oh, absolutely. I go Booker. Gordon Hayward
I
tomorrow
still
against
like,
Boston.
yeah, I still like Gordon Hayward, man.
Yep.
Even though his price is rising, he's having probably the best stretch of his season, headed into the All-Star break. The thing is that small forward spot has got a lot of studs in it today, man. LeBron, Durant, George, Hayward, you can throw in Wilson Chandler. So, to me, I'm targeting the game and not the game and the matchup, and not the price. You know,
Makes sense. You're willing
so
to
I could
spend
go
that
any one
big.
of those guys. Yeah,
Jay Crowder, if he plays, I don't like him. So he's a fade
nope.
regardless. LeBron James, obviously, I mean, there's nothing more to be said there. If he plays, good matchup. Will Barton, we
Yeah, we
talked
just saw
about.
Melo drop 52 points today against Denver, right?
Yeah,
So LeBron should be in line for 70, right?
you would hope, but you
He's
know how,
averaging close to 39 minutes over the last 5 games.
we know how that works. Wilson Chandler, 7,200, man. This price just keeps going up.
Yeah, he was 71 today. Again, I said it last night or today or whenever, last show, that if Barton and Chandler start together, I play Barton over Chandler, and if Barton doesn't start, I like Chandler over Barton, just for those little bit of minutes where Barton's not going to be ball hogging. And we saw it today. You know, the point totals flip flopped.
Obviously, Kevin Durant, not much more to be said there. Would you do Kevin Durant or LeBron James tomorrow? It's a $500 difference.
Durant.
I agree with that.
Let's go Kyrie and Durant.
I, I agree with that as well. Josh just asked if you could go Booker and Bledsoe.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that.
I think you can,
That'd be
but
awesome tournament play.
yeah, Travis just said that as well. Great contrarian play. But I
There you go, Travis.
I prefer a Kyrie Booker stack. You can go.
I think Bledsoe and Booker would be a great contrarian play. I agree, Travis.
Do you think you go Kyrie, Booker, Durant, and build a lineup around those three and go from there?
Yeah, I think you can. Trying to think. Let me look at my lineup real quick because I already built one.
So here's my pivot from Durant, and it'll allow you to save a lot of money. Is Paul George. I love targeting Milwaukee wings, especially their small forwards. Paul George in line tomorrow, 8,100.
Yeah, I could see it. He had a good game today. He's in another good spot. I like the fact that Jeff Teague isn't in a good spot, similar to today.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I'm ranking them Durant, LeBron, Hayward, then George. But it's really close. It's a tough. You could really, whatever your lineup allows you to do, I think you just play that guy in a tournament. I don't think you think too much into it. They're all in good spots.
Harrison Barnes against Orlando is in play as well, 6,400. Not my favorite play, but you can spend down there and still get someone in a good matchup. And then
I don't think I'm going to do Harrison Barnes. Again, I don't really like much of this Dallas. I like Wes and Yogi a little bit, but I think that's it.
I think you can go right back to TJ Warren tomorrow, man.
Did he play well today? I don't think he did. He played.
I think he had a 20-something.
PJ Tucker came in for Chandler, started the second half, and I think played 33 minutes and did nothing.
TJ Warren had 37 minutes and scored 26 DraftKings points. That was
It's not bad. That would have won.
value. It was
Yeah,
value.
right around value.
Overvalue at 4,600.
Could be
PJ
in play
Tucker,
with
yeah.
tournament.
I mean, against the Ariza defense, it's definitely.
I like Ariza though. I like the other side of it.
I also like Ariza. I mean, both are in a great matchup. It's
Ariza's on a hot streak. Remember how I said, get him before he's too high, and look at him now. He's 6K.
Yeah, you can definitely do it for sure. I think you can go Ariza or Warren, depending on where you want to save your money.
So looking at lineup building, if you go two guys over 8K, you can feasibly get two guys that are like mid-price, like right around 6K, or probably three guys that are mid-price between 5 and 6. Whereas if you go three guys over 8K, you're going to end up with too many. There's not enough value to do that. You got to stick to two studs so you can get some mid-price guys in.
Power forward tomorrow. I think this is. I don't know. It's not my favorite. I think this might be the weakest spot on the slate.
I kind of like some stuff here, to be honest with you. So Derek Favors at 5,000 comes into play in tournaments now that he's getting consistent minutes. He played over 30 minutes last game, and obviously this is a good matchup for him.
It's an amazing matchup
and then,
if he gets the minutes.
Yeah, well, like I said, if he gets 30 minutes like he did last game, I'm on to that. And on the same side, like what I said today about Draymond, about how he's going to need to get increased run because of the bigs. If you look at Favors and Gobert, I feel like we're going to get some extra minutes for Amir Johnson today.
Yep.
If you look at the last game that they played, so Amir Johnson averages 20 minutes a game this season. Last time Utah played Boston, he played 28. So at 3,400, I think he's a nice little value given the matchup. Obviously, it's not a good on-court matchup for him, but minutes equal money.
It's not the worst, man. If there's a position after point guard to target, it's got to be Derek Favors.
True.
I mean, the DVP doesn't tell that story, but Derek Favors is not.
It's Utah, that's why.
Yeah, Derek Favors is not a defender. So
I just think even if it's a bad matchup, the fact that he's going to get an increase in minutes at around 30%
at 34
makes you want to look at him, right?
Kevin Love against Denver is obviously a good matchup. I mean, everyone against Denver is. I think you can safely go the big three in cash tomorrow if you want to. Here's the thing I noticed about the big three, Mike, is the big three rarely exceed 5 times value as a whole.
It's impossible. It's like Golden State, man.
Mm-hmm. They are great cash stacks. Terrible tournament stacks.
Yeah, in general, I try to pick my favorite guy on each team. Like whenever there's a 10-game slate or a 9-game slate like today, even though it's somewhat nice to have two guys in the same team, to me it's almost shooting yourself. It's like how
there's only one ball.
Safe do you feel? Yeah. So I try to pick my favorite guy on each team. Today I made an exception just because, like I said, I knew with limited bodies in New Orleans that they were going to go on a limited rotation, and Holiday and Davis were going to get increased runs. So that's what I went in tournaments, and it paid off. But I don't think you can really say that about Cleveland.
Why does Johnny O'Brien sound familiar?
He's been bouncing around the league. I think he
sounds really familiar. I've heard his name before. I just can't remember from where. Not that we're looking at him. Draymond against OKC.
Again, we just talked about it. Yeah. So if you want to go in cash, you could probably pick 2 or 3 guys in this game from Golden State. But if you're playing tournaments, I'm going to try and play just Durant. I mean, I guess you could perhaps be contrarian and go Curry. He's probably got the next best matchup.
Curry against Westbrook, yeah. Who gets the run out of the OKC backcourt or frontcourt guys today?
Why you do me like that?
This is
I
like
have no
this is
idea,
like the
man.
Nets situation. It really is.
I don't know. It defies logic. So it's obviously a punt because we're seeing that one of them gets extra run in any given game. So
You know, it's one thing we have noticed though, and it's something we overlooked, and we were talking about this. We looked so hard to find who benefits from Ennis Cantor being out.
hmm
We missed the most obvious one, and it's Russell Westbrook.
yep, it is. It's also some Oladipo too. I've noticed that from watching the games that they're breaking the two of them up a little bit, and Oladipo's playing somewhat on the second team more, which is awesome. If they start doing what CJ and Dame are doing,
Yeah,
Oladipo is gonna
it
he's
makes
gonna
his
see some
fantasy
awesome.
a lot more fantasy
Yeah,
enticing.
a lot more friendly for sure. But the same thing's gonna happen with Jabari Parker. You know, it's where is the usage going to go? We're trying to find the right guy. Oh wait, Giannis had 37% usage today. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's just what's going to happen.
You just resort to your playmaker.
Especially when your coach doesn't drop plays. It makes no sense, man. I was a Nets fan my whole life. This dude was an epic playmaker, and now he just what happened? The Nets traded Jason Kidd, not as a player, as a coach. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
He's a terrible coach, man. He really is. He's the Phil Jackson of coaches. Is
The Nets
Phil Jackson?
traded
Yeah.
Jason Kidd as a coach. That just shows that this dude is an awful coach.
Derek Fisher, terrible coach. Jason Kidd, terrible coach. Phil Jackson, terrible executive.
Oh, yeah, if you guys missed my lock show today, I had a nice PSA to start off the show. For any Knicks fans that are out there, you know, you guys are just so
Fucked.
fed up with all this shit, and you're like, I just want to go to a game and just hold up signs and scream at players. Come on over. The Nets we're chilling, man. Everything is cool over here. We're great to watch if you're playing fantasy. No one's having any problems. We're right around the corner too, so Knicks fans, if you guys are losing too, we're just losing a lot more fun, man. I promise. Come on over. I'll invite you in. We'll talk about the games. It'll be a good time.
The Knicks are going to be they're in a dumpster fire for a couple years to come, man. That whole situation is awful. James Johnson against Miami tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, against Philadelphia. The game is Miami Philly.
Yes, I do want that. Thank
I
God this is a back-to-back, or else it'd be 7K.
yeah. I
I
like
like
it.
it.
I do as
Especially no
well.
Embiid, man.
What about Ilyasova?
No,
He's
what
down
we
to.
didn't talk about. We never talked about Dion Waiters.
I talked about him. I said Wayne Ellington is in play if Dion Waiters is out, but to keep an eye on that situation.
So if Dion Waiters plays tomorrow, I'm all aboard the Dion Waiters train.
He lit up Philly last time.
He's from Philly, man.
Yep, and it's in Philly. Yeah.
It's from Philly. He's in Philly. He's already saw on Twitter today that he really wants to play. Obviously, no one's going to be on him coming off an injury, and it's only been 2 games. So it's not like this dude's been out 2 weeks with an ankle injury, man. It's only been 2 games. The fact that he's already practicing makes me feel like it's not that serious. And we know what this guy can do when he gets hot. So it's definitely something that I'm looking at for sure as a ultra contrarian play if he goes.
What about Ilyasova tomorrow? 5,500 dropped a little bit.
That's a head scratcher.
It's a tournament play for sure.
Yeah, I got no insight on that.
These we talked about. Ibaka, Dallas, Dirk. You know, Dirk is someone that you could look at against Vucevic. 5,300.
Could. I think you could. He's probably the next guy I would look at.
And then Marquise Chris. I think Marquise Chris probably fouls out by the third quarter tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there's some more significant value than Chris on this slate.
Gobert. Gobert. 7,400 against Boston.
Yes,
I like it.
lock him in.
I like it.
Lock him in your cash games.
What
That's what I'm
about
saying. Like, if I want Durant and Kyrie and Gobert, I don't know if I can get Devin Booker.
That's
So that's
probably
kind of a
true.
thing that I'm looking at. If I'm going Durant and Kyrie, how much do I like Gobert? Do I like him more than Devin Booker tomorrow? And I don't know, it just feels super safe.
What about Al
And
Horford?
that's what you're looking at for cash. That's the opposite of safe. That's like,
I'm not talking cash.
yeah, I guess 6,200, man. Just look what they do. Look what they do to us. They
Against
really make
Utah.
us
Yeah.
sweat. They're like, here, do you want Horford? Hey, have Isaiah Thomas.
Jokic is 9,000 tomorrow against Cleveland.
Killing me. Still cheap. Again, that's another guy I'd be close to 10K today. It wasn't a back-to-back.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm saying, man, there's so many good tournament plays on this slate. That was the first thing I said to you when I picked up the call. I don't think I'd go in cash.
No, but tournament. I don't think he's going to be super high owned.
Yeah, I still think I would go Bear in cash. But then, like, even look at Whiteside, man. He just put up 61 against
I
Philly.
was just going to say, Whiteside's my favorite center on the slate.
So it's like, do I go Jokic against Cleveland?
Who the hell is going to
Like,
guard Whiteside?
Yeah, but he guards himself sometimes, you know? Like, he's seeing shit out there.
He guards himself. Oh, man.
He's a goofball.
He does, though. God. He's really not. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. When he tries, the dude he's a freak, man.
He still doesn't have that look. Like, he doesn't have that Embiid look. Like,
No, he
if
doesn't.
you had like put a poster with Embiid on your wall with him giving you like this like I'm Embiid the monster look, and then you put it next to like a Hassan Whiteside poster with him giving you the look, you'd be like, who the fuck does this guy think he really is? Trying to match up with
He
the
doesn't.
greatest human of all time.
He's very tall and lengthy, whereas Embiid is just kind of yeah. I agree.
Sorry, I'll stop.
I don't know. I like Whiteside a lot tomorrow, though. I do. I think
Oh yeah.
it's worth the play.
Again, he just put up 61 against Philly. And centers have been eating up Philly, man.
Oh hell yeah! Sorry, I guess I should switch over. 63 in the last 5.
What is the next closest? 10 points less.
54. Yeah. What about Ja though tomorrow?
So, it's tough. I mean, him and Noel, last game, Noel played one more minute and significantly outproduced him fantasy-wise. But easily it could be the opposite next game, you know?
I don't know.
We can't really use the last game as like a barometer because Noel, I believe, didn't play. It was just Okafor. So, I think it was just Okafor and Holmes in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And still, Okafor only played like 24 minutes.
The matchup is there.
It is. The price is somewhat intriguing as well.
Miles Turner's only 5,800 tomorrow.
It's true.
It's an enticing
Something
time to play.
Yeah, especially on that short slate.
Oh, the short slate, I think he's the center you pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Where are we looking? What about Vooch against Dallas? So, I mean, you can go the reverse. We talked about Dirk versus Vooch. What about Vooch versus Dirk?
It's just not the game I want to target, you know.
I agree. I'm going to stay away from Vooch today. I had my...
The Orlando side especially. I could look at some Dallas side going against Orlando, but I don't know that I'm looking much on Orlando against Dallas, especially with them shifting things as often as they do.
I'm not sure if Tyson Chandler is going to play.
Yeah, I think he
left the game early today at halftime, before halftime. But
You want to just play devil's advocate and take in case he doesn't play?
I'm gonna say it's more likely he doesn't play.
Okay, so let's assume he doesn't play then. Are you looking at Alex Len?
I look.
Or are you going Big Al?
No, I'm going more Clint Capella.
Well, I'm thinking that you got to look at one of those two guys for $3,000, and I'm thinking I'm looking at Big Al.
Williams?
Yes, sir. He
I
had
agree.
14 and 11 today in like 15 minutes, and we saw what happened. You remember back in November when
he exploded
Chandler
for
was out?
40 points or something.
Yeah, like 3 straight games of just crushed. His price rose from $3K to like $5,200 in like an overnight.
And then he got benched and never played again.
So I think if Chandler's out,
I agree. I think you take
Alan
the flyer.
Williams is like O'Quinn.
You take the flyer on Williams. He's a points per minutes guy.
However, if Chandler plays or doesn't play, I like Capella.
Yes.
Both
I like Capella.
scenarios.
I like Capella.
And if Nene is out again, I think you can look at Harrell as well.
That was 3,500, yeah. Okay, so Capella at 59 or Turner at 58?
That's tough for me. I think I'm going to go Capella. Actually, no. I'm going to go Turner.
I agree. I like Turner more.
That's tough. That's a really tough one for me, though.
They're $100 difference, so.
I think you just use DVP as a tiebreaker in that one.
And that would go to.
Probably
Monroe. It's going to go to Capella.
Really? Against Tyson Chandler?
Phoenix is terrible.
Henson?
Yeah, Phoenix is terrible.
What about last 10?
Last 10, Phoenix is giving up 51, and Milwaukee's giving up 52.
Well, damn.
Over their last 5, Milwaukee's at 50, and Phoenix is at 51.
So it's still a tie. I don't know. Maybe you just pick whichever hairdo you like better.
I was going to say, throw a dart at the board.
I think... Yeah, I don't know. They both got pretty cool hairdos.
I kind of like Miles's better.
Pretty wild, man.
Just feel like he plays so free with that hairstyle, Just flows. I love the kid, though. I really do. The dude's only 20 years old.
He's a good guy. I've watched some of his Snapchat stories.
Some of his Snapchat stories?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Mike?
Whatever. You're trying to get an edge, right? Anything to get an edge, guys.
Well, it's 4:30 your time. You have enough time to maybe sleep for 25 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'm debating whether to take a nap or make breakfast.
Mike has work in an hour and a half, so it's his turn to go to work on no sleep.
That's right.
I did that last week.
But it's not too bad, man.
Nah, we have fun. We have fun doing this. As always, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Man, telling you, if the community is something you want to be a part of, we'll make it happen for you. You get a 7-day trial, just to kind of to get things filled out. Field out today? I don't even know. Whatever.
Just to field things out, yeah. So rate, review, and subscribe. Holler at us if you want to be a part of this.
We'll get
you, or just like Kyle said, check us out.
Yeah, we'll get you into that Slack group, even on your 7-day trial. We'll get you in there. You'll get on the email list. You'll get to see everything. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But 7 days free, you don't have anything to lose. And I will. God.
I was gonna say, even if you think Kyle and I are like the worst people in the world, you could come find some cool people in here. I promise. And plus, we put all this stats together, and stats don't lie.
Exactly. Yeah. You could not listen to the show at all, and if you think we're gonna lead you the wrong way or our opinions suck, at least we put all the stats together for you. So definitely check it out,
Man.
guys. The link is below if you're interested. Again, 7-day trial, and then after that, it's only $9.99 a month, cheaper than every other site I've seen out there. I've seen some that are $15-$30 a week. You're getting it for $10 a month here. You take a look at our Instagram, our Twitter. You're seeing guys that are winning all this money. They're making their money. They're making this subscription pay for itself, and they're paying like 6 months. They're paying for almost a lifetime subscription. Some of these guys that are winning. So
Yeah.
and
But
the community is the invaluable part.
exactly, meeting other people out here, and no, but real talk, guys. Like, we invest a lot of time into this. This is something that we are really passionate about, and we are devoted to. Like, we're struggling to stay with our other jobs because we like doing this so much. I mean, I spend a good 2 to 3 hours a night before this show every night compiling research, and I know Kyle does the same. And before that, I'm watching basketball. Before that, if I'm not at work, I'm interacting on Slack and the Facebook group as much as I can, while still trying to innovate and develop on the ideas that that we have as a core. So it's not something that we're just getting on here and talking to you guys for 2 hours. It really is something that we're devoted to. So
the time is being put in.
Come check us out.
Yeah, 100%. The time is being put in, and I promise you the website is coming. It's not as fast as we want it to, but it's not something we want to rush. So me and Mike aren't in this for a quick buck. That's not our goal, and we're not going to put out a half-ass product for you. And if we wanted to put out a website, we would just get on Wix and use a template website, right? Mm-hmm. That's not what we want to do. It's not the direction we want to go. And that's not anything on Wix. It's just what we're trying to provide to you guys is much more advanced than what a template website designer can do. And Wix is awesome for a basic entry in terms of, we can throw in our Twitter feed in there and our Instagram, and we can create a forum and all that stuff. We can throw all that on a Wix easy. But the goal of the website is not to just throw a bunch of blocks on it, right? Like, that's what a template is. It just blocks everything. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for an extremely interactive website where you can lock and fade players in an optimizer, and things are color coded, and it's just stats are sortable, right? So you click on it and you can load it from highest to shortest, things like that. So
yeah, we're just trying to avoid limitations, and so in order to do so, what we're doing now is we're kind of releasing things as they come on the platforms we have. All of these things will eventually be incorporated into the site, but it's not like we're selling you short and like holding things back from you until the website comes. Everything's coming out to you. It's just kind of all over the place a little bit, but we're streamlining it as best we can, and we're trying to get to a point where we can avoid these limitations so that we can bring it all into one stop shop, right?
It'll all be in one spot in the end. And if you're subscribed, do not worry. You're going to be moved right over to the website when that launches. We're already working on baseball projections, so that is coming. We're literally going to flow right into baseball, and it's going to be crazy because we're going to be doing 2 shows a day. We're going to be
looking for support too. So keep it up. We feed off your support, and you guys are going to take this as far as it's going to go. It's not even up to us.
Yeah, no, we're nothing without you guys, and I tell people that all the time. People come to me or Mike or Josh or D or anyone in the community, and thanks so much. Honestly, man, it's thanks to you guys. We're not here without you, and I will never change that mindset.
Yeah, speaking of you guys, we got to dish out the congrats before we end the show. Talk about our winners today, and these contests, guys, are becoming to be I mean, we had 80 people in the DraftKings contest today, which is unreal. I mean, getting first out of 80 people, you know that the top 10, if not the top 20, are cashing in any tournament they want, you know? So, K2 Temple Owl, which I believe his name is Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, from chatting with you earlier today, took down the Money Melee on DraftKings with a line of 341.75, which was almost 20 points higher than second place. So I hope you had that line elsewhere. From talking to you, I don't know that you did, but hey, man, trust the process, okay? Now, over to FanDuel. Our contest is called the Phenom Duel. And the winner today was, he goes by Straight Trippin'. Do you remember his name? I know he's in the Slack group as well.
Damn it. I do know his name.
I want to say David for some reason. Either way, you, sir, I've seen you up in the leaderboards. You know, that's what this is all about. We're trying to find the top phenom, the one that gets into the top 5 night in and night out. Line of 356 on FanDuel today. Congrats to you, and look forward to Monday. Actually, no, look forward to Sunday. Sunday we'll be holding for the first time, all of the winners will be in one group together for a chance to pad your stats with an extra 5 points toward the progressive total, and then on Monday we'll come up with another round of the power rankings to see where everybody stands.
By the
So
way,
get your lineups in, and yeah.
By the way, Jeremy Corsino placed second in the DraftKings free entry today. Second out of all
free one?
The free one, the giant one.
Well, I know they had them in tiers. Like I was invited to the silver tier.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know if we're in the same one. It's just depending on how many points you earn, you get like a free contest.
Let me see if it tells me. It just said Roto.
Either way, dude, I know there was 50,000 people in that.
Yeah, Roto Grinders lineup builder celebration. It doesn't have.
Oh, it's that one. That was different. Yeah, no, totally different.
Anyways, that was the one where you could max enter 150 times, so you can imagine how many entries are in that. He finished second with a score of 367.25. So huge shout out to Jeremy.
On DraftKings?
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
So shout out to Jeremy, man. Way to represent with the Phenom logo. Roto Grinder sees us.
That's right.
So. Well, all right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to knock out these sheets real quick and then take a little nap, and we'll be up in the morning. Mike, have a wonderful day at work, sir. Go make some breakfast or take a nap.
See you guys on The Lock Show right around 6:30 my time.
All right. Look forward to that. Have a good one, guys.